about technology anymore. I'm Sean Jennings, joined by two of the best legal minds, Colby Robinu and Dan Miller.
Our minds haven't been ruled illegal yet.
No. Well, listen, I should warn everyone in advance. We are wall-to-wall coverage on the Trump verdict. We got these guys here. They know the New York State court system inside and out. We're talking about sentencing. We're talking about the verdict. You know, there's no one else I'd rather have here than these two guys.
Now, you joke, but a few short months ago, when we were in New York for Dan's wedding, Laura and I, the day after, Laura and I were just like walking around New York, and we're going towards the Brooklyn Bridge, and like all of a sudden we're walking down the street, and there are like barriers, and there are police officers everywhere, like all these people. And it was the first day all this stuff was happening, because it was like the first day of this trial. So, you know, we were there witnessing history.
Yep.
Of some kind.
That happened to me when I was last in New York too. So we do have firsthand experience. What was I gonna say? Oh, I have been on a I've once again reinstituted my social media blackout, where I'm once again only on Mastodon, where people only talk about BSD and other random nerd topics. No one, I don't know if anyone on Mastodon posted about
BSD? Is that a sex thing?
Well, yeah, it's big something energy. I won't tell you what it is.
I genuinely don't know.
It's the like version of Unix that macOS is based off of.
Oh, right. Okay.
That nobody uses except people who own Macs, and then super nerds who are like doing shit in the basement. Anyways, I forget, but something of this magnitude will pierce the veil. And I think it probably was someone on Mastodon making a veiled reference, and I was like, you know what, this probably means that something happened in this court case, and that was the only reason I knew. And honestly, it's great. It's so great to be living this life. I got off of work, and I'm like, what am I going to do today? I could read a book. I could play a video game. I could go hang out with people. That's it. There's nothing else on my mind.
Dan, you see all these bags under my eyes?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly why.
It's social media, pure.
Because all I do is stare at my phone constantly,
media bags
all day long. It's not ideal. By the way, I do want to give a shout out to Dolphin Belly in the Twitch chat for the show, who wrote Brooklyn Bridge, America's best landmark. Thank you. I think a fan of the Up for Debate show. In fact, maybe a co-host. Who knows? Who's joining us live? Yes, I just got off of Up for Debate. We just did that show live. We're doing a double header tonight, so
we didn't tell you about
warmed
the podcast
up.
We're doing after this one, Sean.
There's another one. Oh my god!
We're bringing back Change Mode for one night only. It's happening tonight.
Let's listen. I think I'm still paying for changemode.de. So anytime you want to bring it back, please.
So did you do an American Landmarks bracket? Is that what I'm to gather?
We did a Sweet 16 of American Landmarks. I think the final. I know the St. Louis Arch got really far. But Brooklyn Bridge did win it, and I don't remember why. But yeah, the brackets have never really. That's kind of why we stopped doing them.
I think that's a defensible position, though, because it is very iconic. It has a lot of history to it. It's got a lot of legacy. It's objectively impressive. I think it ticks a lot of boxes. I imagine was a Mount Rushmore up there too. That is like iconic, but
yeah, it was all of those. Golden Gate Bridge, I think, was up there. Like, I think we had a Bridge v. Bridge starting bracket, and I think the Brooklyn Bridge beat the Golden Gate Bridge. I'm trying to remember. Let's see if he best soup Italian wedding. Matt, do you remember the what our we did fears? Do you remember what our best fear was? That was, I think, the only bracket I really enjoyed doing, was comparing the fears, but I don't remember which one won.
Was it the the one that all of the nerds learned after the new Apple Mac Pro release came out, the fear of holes. What is that fear called?
There was like a fear of the number 13,
trypophobia.
Yeah. We did all the phobias. Fear of girls. No, that just happens naturally. We know that one. But anyway, what is going on, gentlemen? It's been a couple weeks. Oh, like 2 weeks.
It's true. I've been having a terrible technology couple of days. Like, I got home today and both smoke detectors were going off at the same time. Needed new batteries. And then this morning we woke up and the internet was out. And the internet was out till noontime. And then last night we were watching TV and Laura stood up and the TV just died. mid show the TV died. So yeah, it's rough times over here.
Now you didn't call the local TV repair shop?
I really thought about it because I like my TV a lot, but I figured I've been saying for years, probably on this podcast, that when my plasma TV from 2014 died, I was going to get a new TV. And so
as opposed to just living without one.
Well, that's
which
true.
People do.
I think, yeah. I mean, I could. It certainly would have been cheaper to just live without one. That is something I can say. But it is a common. We do a lot of TV. We have the TV on a lot. Like Laura likes to have the TV on when she's cooking.
Mm-hmm.
It's
a piece of art.
Yeah. I feel like Laura uses the TV like I use podcasts. It's like a thing to put on while you're doing something else.
Yeah.
So you got to spill the beans because you already kind of leaked to us a little bit. You've already picked a replacement. Is that true?
Yeah. I mean,
walk us through the process. What's the current state of TVs?
So one thing I will say, the real reason that I haven't bought a new TV before now is that I hate reading about TVs. It's so boring and so like there's so many options and they're also like pedantic. Like they have the stupidest differences. It's like, do I need Dolby Vision HDR? But this one doesn't have filmmaker mode. It's like, I don't know what any of this means. So I did, what a person often does, and I went to the Wirecutter and I read the Wirecutter, and I was like, well, I could get their top pick that is like not too expensive. Their top of like OLED television pick that is not too expensive, or I could get the one that's like, you should get this one if you want the best TV. And obviously I picked the best TV option. So it's like, I don't know. It's like one of the Sony Bravia ones, which are apparently good. And it's got the QD OLED that Dan was talking about in the chat before. It's got Dolby Vision, which is kind of like my name.
Could you imagine? What would let's ask Colby. What would Colby Vision be like? You're the only one who's ever experienced it.
Yeah, I mean, well, maybe it would be easiest to compare to Dolby Vision once I've experienced it. You can do a compare and contrast.
Yeah, I haven't. So it sounds like Colby's ultimately the wrong person to ask about what the current state of TVs are. I haven't done the deep dive on this. I know that OLED TVs are not as bright, but they have better colors. And I like watching a movie with people. And so the Apple Vision Pro is not going to be the best screen. Something I can watch with other people is going to be the best screen. I like turning the lights out and making it a thing. That is like a fun ritual to do once a month or a quarter or so. So I didn't mind that, though I have noticed, especially in the place we live now, where the TV faces a window, it can be pretty difficult to see that TV if you're watching it during the daytime, which is a good reason to not watch TV during the daytime, especially if it's actually sunny outside, which it so rarely is. But what I do need to do at some point is, and maybe we talked about this, I need to figure out a new sound solution because well, you've all seen the TV. The TV is against the wall, thank God. And opposite TV is a couch, but it's actually quite a distance. Mm-hmm. And to the right is just open space if you're sitting on the couch, and to the left is a fireplace. And so there's no place to run wires, and I have been cautioned against drilling holes in the ceiling, even in the floor, even though it is directly above the unfinished basement. So it would be perfect, but I have been cautioned to not do that. So I was reading all about these like wireless surround sound systems, and everyone hates them. So I think at some point I just need to go to one of the nice sound bars. I don't know. Do either of you have experience with these things?
So I used to have a sound bar. I actually still have it. It's in the closet. I don't really have room for it in my, like, there's nowhere to put it in my apartment. And one of the things that appealed to me about the TV that I chose is it has some weird like sound thing where it like vibrates the sound through the screen or something like that. And it's supposed to be like, you know, better than your average TV speakers. So that was one of the reasons I chose this dingus. We'll see if that's real or not.
Now, you strike me as a person who cares about sound, Colby. Is that true? Like, for example, Lena doesn't notice. I honestly think she would claim, I don't think this is true, that if I played music from my phone and then played it from the surround sound speaker, she would claim that she can tell no difference.
Yeah. I mean, I'm definitely not a
audiophile.
Yes. I'm not that. However, I can definitely tell, you know, the difference between your phone speaker and not the phone speaker. I do regularly, like, you know, I appreciate when the sound is like on like the Sonos. Like we have 2 Sonoses in a stereo pair, and it sounds nice. It's like, you know, if you're listening on your computer and it's like, oh, I should AirPlay this to the speakers. It's like, oh, that does sound nice. I've never felt that way super about TV. Like I've never felt compelled to like do surround sound or anything like that.
Interesting.
I feel like a lot of the TV watching I do, I end up like I'm watching at night when Laura's asleep.
That's true. It is tough in like a city environment.
Right. I'm watching it with the sound like way down and the subtitles on.
Yeah.
Or, you know, occasionally maybe I'll put my AirPods in or something and like listen that way.
That I'm thinking of, well, yeah. The problem is I do like to watch with people, but to be honest, doesn't happen that often. And so I'm wondering if maybe I just put the AirPods in. I always use the Apple TV, so it connects directly to the Apple TV. But yeah, like I can't imagine watching Mad Max, which I just rewatched before watching the new one, on built-in TV speakers. Like the sound is such an important part of that movie with the flamethrower guitar guy and like
true.
But like I said, when what was the thing someone was trying to get me into? Maybe it was on my headphones journey. I was like, can I really afford to become picky about another thing? I'm already picky about these stupid keyboards, computers. So maybe it's best that I curtail myself.
Yeah, I'm surprisingly basic when it comes to my TV AV needs. I have never heard a TV speaker I didn't think sounded fine.
Wow.
But also I primarily watch like YouTube on my TV. So I'm not like, if I were like, I have the 4K Blu-ray player with Dolby Atmos surrounds, like I get that. But for an average person, I think TV sound fine. I will also say I used to buy not like nicer TVs. I think the last 2 or 3 TVs I've bought, they've been TCL, not bottom of the barrel, but basic.
Tickle,
and they're
as I call
awesome.
Tickle.
And they're great, and I love them, and they've not broken, and they have Roku in them, and they look really good, and they're 4K, and I didn't spend a ton of money on them. And it's just one of those things, like, I pick and choose what technology I invest heavy in. Like a laptop, I boost the specs. Oh, it's going to last for a while. I want to really invest. But for TVs, it's like maybe it's just my eyes and ears suck, which is kind of true. I just don't notice a difference. I really have never. I actually, for my living room, I bought Roku makes a sound bar.
Yep, I got it from my mom.
Yes, and even I plugged that in, and I'm like, I don't know that this sounds that much better than my TV speakers. Like a little bit.
God.
But I didn't even, I didn't. And I will say, I do like using headphones, though. If there's something like a movie with really soft dialogue or something, Roku app allows you to use headphones via your phone to your Roku TV or device. I do like that feature, and I do use that with the AirPods.
I'm surrounded by heathens.
Yeah.
Sorry, man. Hate to tell you.
No, I will say, like, the thing I'm most concerned about is going from my plasma picture quality to like one of these garbage digital TVs. I had a period of time. I think there have been 3 times in during the lifetime of this TV where I considered getting another TV. And one time I was like, wow, this TV, like the resolution's so bad. It just like doesn't look very good. And then I like went to the eye doctor and got glasses and put my glasses and I was like, oh no, it looks fine. It looks great. But I just don't know what to expect because I don't know. I hate all of the like, I don't know if OLEDs have this, but I hate all of the like weird like LCD motion smoothing shit that's on TVs and like
you can turn it off. That is a reason to get filmmaker mode, by the way.
Yes. Well, that was one of the decision points was like this particular TV that is allegedly the nicest one and looks awesome according to the Wirecutter thing does not have filmmaker mode. But they were like, it's fine, like their modes are good, they're really true to the thing or whatever, but they don't have like a filmmaker mode. So I don't know if I'll regret my decision, but I'm willing to believe them. But I do go ahead.
No, I was going to say, TV settings I've always approached, and that there is no right answer. It's just keep screwing around with it till you like how it looks, and that's the right setting. And I don't think I have, 2, 3 TVs in my house. They're all set differently because of the room they're in, and I just screw with them and I say, okay, that looks good to me. Sure. I will say I've seen different TVs with different panel technologies over the years, but the only time I've really noticed a big difference is going to 4K. If you're watching a true 4K, a lot of streaming shows pretty much are all shot now in 4K, anything on Netflix or Apple TV. Once you get to the level of LED panel that you have in the OLEDs, the local dimming is so good, it's going to replicate the sort of dark areas of your plasma. I think the good news for you is I think you skipped all the years of shitty LEDs.
Yes.
Now LEDs have sort of caught up to what the plasma would have been. Is my guess. You'll have to tell us.
Right. The thing I remember most of all was there was that one episode at the end of Game of Thrones where the whole episode was really dark. Mm-hmm. And you watch the episode of Game of Thrones and everyone, came into work the next day and was like, oh my God, I couldn't see anything. It was so dark. And I could see everything. It looked great. So that's my gold standard.
I watched it on my 2017 iPad on an airplane and it was fine. The iPad is actually a really good screen.
But I think that's more about everyone's TV settings being terrible. Like, I think everyone has theirs in like super cinematic mode or some crazy thing that just blows it. Because so believe it or not, for work, I buy a ton of TVs for trade show booths. And what happens is you buy 2, 3, 4 of them for the booth. They get broken in shipping. You have to buy more. And so I unbox and turn on new TVs more often than I'd like to admit. The default settings are so bad on TVs. Like the stuff looks like crap. So I'm not surprised that a lot of people, their TVs ruin the experience more than, they would have liked.
Yeah.
Now, have you ever thought about getting one of these? So it's the cool thing is back in the day, if you wanted to quote calibrate a TV to make the what the TV looks like more closely match some profile, I guess, you had to get like special spectrometer equipment. And now my understanding is there are apps you can do this, and you pay $5. You can do it from your phone. And you make an adjustment, and then you take a photo, and you make an adjustment, and you take a photo, kind of thing.
Yeah, didn't they announce for Apple TV that it has built in that it'll do calibration with your iPhone?
Yeah.
So that might help. But how old's your Apple TV? Does it do 4K content?
I got the very first 4K one, so I don't know. There are some features it doesn't have. The other day, I was FaceTiming with my dad, and I was like, "Oh right, I can put this on the TV." And no, you can't. You need a newer Apple TV to do that. Even though mine is the very first 4K one. There was another thing I couldn't do recently too. Maybe it was like a share play thing. There was also some like share play stuff. So I've been thinking about TVs a little bit, but I'm not going to do it yet. Nice. Now, Colby, did you think about? Well, probably not. But the TVs that are like it's a picture frame, and it when it's not on, it looks like a Picasso painting and things like that.
That would work so well in your place.
Yeah, it's true. Unfortunately, they are all LED TVs, not OLED TVs, is my understanding.
Yeah. So my sister has one of the picture frame TVs. It's nice. It looks really nice. It looks nice in her house. The biggest thing that deterred me from even considering the picture frame TVs is that the wall that my TV is on is very much not flat or straight. And I think it would, while the idea is nice, it would in practice look terrible because it's like there's like a swoop in it. Also, I already have my TV mount up, so I was like, I'm just gonna
the pre-war swoop they call it.
Yeah, right. There's like a swoop, and then in the wall there is a very like large metal pipe of some kind that I don't know what it is. But I'm sure it's like, a vent or something like out to the roof. But it like has a swoop and then like a like bump. So I don't, my sister has it on like a new wall that's a part of like a renovation they did. It looks awesome. And I think it would not look that awesome in our space, unfortunately.
Our friend Matt in the Twitch chat wants our quick opinions on the Fallout show. Has anyone watched the Fallout show?
I am watching it now in Lena's absence. It's really good. I don't understand what happened in the last couple of years. We went from every video game adaptation is cursed to be truly awful to I think right after Mortal Kombat came out, they've all been good since then. And even Mortal Kombat wasn't that bad. It wasn't a good movie, but it wasn't a disaster.
I liked it actually.
Yeah, I mean, it was too
but
much.
But I have no
for
taste.
Me.
So,
it was,
it
bordered on like absurd.
I was trapped in the house. It was the pandemic. I had nothing else to do. I loved it.
I remember exactly the way I felt when I watched it, which was like, well, I've got nothing else better to do, and then it turned out I did. I turned it off after 30 minutes. But anyways, yeah, no, it's really good. And that's a hard one because, Last of Us is pretty easy. You're like, it's very dramatic, very cinematic. You can kind of just do it 1-to-1. Fallout is a lot more about the vibes.
Yeah.
But like, you can't just make a ridiculous show about, nuclear fallout wastelands with, zombies running around, but they can talk. And also, so they did a really good job. I liked it. Or I'm not finished with it. I continue to like it.
I enjoyed it as well.
I think I gotta watch Fallout, and then to complete the what Colby played in college sort of filmography, when Borderlands movie comes out later this year. All I'm missing is a Call of Duty Modern Warfare movie, and then
what about Assassin's Creed too?
That's right. We can watch Assassin's Creed. I like this. What a collection, Assassin's Creed. Who?
I think one of my favorite things about the Fallout TV show is somehow Amazon found it in their heart not to put ads in this show. Just, somehow. Their other shows have ads, but not this one. Huh. It's interesting.
Curious.
It's almost like they want people to watch this show.
Go figure. Silly stuff. I also had a major piece of technology break that I had to replace.
Ooh.
Maybe there's a curse going around. My washing machine. Unfortunately, my clothes, they stopped rinsing and getting the soap out, and it smelled bad. And it turns out there was a bad sensor in my high-tech LG washing machine. I'd had it for 8 years. It was definitely more expensive to fix than it was worth. So I went and bought a new washing machine.
Nice. What'd you get?
I got a General Electric top loader with agitator.
The
General. Listen, love for the General.
A top loader, huh? Wow.
A top loader. That's the new fad. Everyone's going away from the front loaders.
Really? I thought you couldn't do that something like energy efficiency something. You basically couldn't do top loaders anymore.
No, they fixed it.
Oh, it's great.
I don't know how, but all the cold water, high efficiency. Science. It does use a little more water than the front loaders, but not enough to make it not efficient, if that makes sense. But it's great. It's big drum, and you can put the laundry in it, and it washes it. And I'm telling you, I did not buy it because of this. It's simply all of them have it. It has Wi-Fi and an app. And honestly, I was like, Mr. Tech Guy here, I was like, I don't know why I need an app for my washing machine. Turns out I was extremely wrong. Everyone should have an app for their washing machine. Namely, it telling you when it's done. And warning you if after, say, 30 minutes, you haven't taken your clothes out yet, is worth the price of admission. It's very helpful.
It's like Laundry View. Remember Laundry View?
Which, by the way, did you guys read? There was a story.
Yes, I know exactly what you're talking about. The college student who hacked the washing machine system at some university. Yeah,
they had a Laundry View system, and he found a something in the API he was able to get in, and he gave everybody free unlimited laundry due to a bug in the app. So don't hack into my washer. Damn it.
Challenges.
So not the most thrilling thing, but my clothes are fresh and clean, and it does give me a push notification when my laundry's done.
Well, that's good. That's important. Speaking of washing things in the home, I did my second ever power washing, maybe I think since the last show. I power washed our very moldy deck. I don't know. I imagine it's especially bad here, but over the winter, your deck turns green here.
Mm-hmm.
And I can send you some very good side-by-sides.
I love a good power washer. You know what my brother got? I haven't had a chance to use it. He's a big Ryobi guy. He buys every tool Ryobi makes. He got the Ryobi Power Scrubber, which it has a head on it. It's probably a dinner plate.
A humongous Dremel?
Sorta. It's got a dinner plate size head with bristles on it, and you hook the Ryobi bag, it spins around. You can like power scrub shit with it. I'm gonna borrow it to do my house. I haven't yet, but apparently it's very cool. So
is it like relatively soft?
You can get different heads for it. So there's like a stiff one or a soft one. He used it to clean like the green stuff off his gutters. I guess it just depends on how hard stuck on your messes.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I don't know. Our house, the side looks fine. Like I feel a little terrified to take a power washer to it. Plus, it's not plastic.
Yeah, you got to be careful. I have ruined things that were not supposed to be power washed, including the paint on my old car. Don't power wash your car.
They do explicitly tell you not to do powerful. That. Yeah, I do want to try the soap cannon though with the power washer. That always looks like fun. I don't know if it prefers any benefit, but it does look like fun.
Yeah, no, they're a treat.
Wow, that sounds fun. Did I ever talk about the Ryobi thing? Made me think of this. My sister told me about these things called drill brushes, which are
you picked them on the show.
They sound exactly like the Ryobi. Well, they sound similar to the thing you were describing, but they, it's a brush with like, a hexagonal, like little bit thing that you could put in your power drill and like, use it to clean your tub really aggressively or whatever. It's super fun.
I actually, I'm going to do a pick. Can I do a random mid-show pick?
Sure.
Is that allowed? Because it goes right, and I'm going to put it in the. I'll put it in the Slack. I love this thing. I bought it a little while back. It's the Hoto electric rechargeable screwdriver, and it's basically like I used to either put screws in with like a regular screwdriver, which sucks, or a power drill, which is way too much power, and I would strip the shit out of them. This thing is like, I have it in here. Oh, what a treat.
You know what this looks like, Colby? This looks like the Dyson hairdryer.
It does.
This is just the men's Dyson hairdryer.
There it is. I gotcha. So this is where are you guys? You're over here. So it's this thing right here. And it's a little power, and it comes with a bunch of different bits, and but it has it's rechargeable with USB-C, but it's got a surprising amount of power. And so like putting any kind of, I redid my downstairs bathroom over the Memorial Day weekend. I had to take like towel bars off the wall and take the screws out, put up a light fixture. Like for those kinds of screws, this thing is incredible. I was incredibly impressed, and it's small, so it gets in smaller spaces where a big drill might not. And it's it's got a little light on it. Anyway, I'm a big fan. I'll put the link on our Don't Panic website, don'tpanic.io. But this thing's great.
I like it.
I something I did last weekend. This is definitely the Don't Panic Home Improvement Hour. Is we have old doors. And the old doors have old door handles, which are very cool. They've got like those, I don't think they're actual glass, but like the clear door handle thingies and the original fixtures. And I have no other door handles to compare them to, but they are screwed into the door frame and the screws come loose over the winter. And so our door handles get more and more loosey-goosey. And so I went around and screwed all my door handles in. So it's just a fact of life. Like everything comes loose in your house. You're constantly tightening things up.
I'm always amazed. I have a couple doorknobs that always come loose. Usually on doors, I don't want to say I slam, but there's some doors in my house I just never close. But the ones that get a lot of use, I notice the handles get loose. But the other thing about my house moves a ton season to season. Like the gaps in the floorboard get bigger as the house expands and contracts, and like doors will stick in the summer but not in the winter.
Sure.
My house is very poorly built, I should say. But yeah, absolutely no, I do see it, and I don't know why.
It's got to be something about the expanding and contracting, but you'd think there must be some way around this, right? Like, otherwise, how would anything stay up?
You want your well, and actually, I do know a few things about this because of my fastener experience. You want your house to move. If you could build a house that was buttoned up tight, but your house is always fighting heat, cold, and wind. And if you buttoned it up, it would be too stiff and it would fall over. You actually want your house to move a little bit. Like, for example, a non-load bearing wall in your home, they actually purposefully leave a gap between the wall and the ceiling above it that allows for movement and contraction in the middle. Because at the ends, it's pretty stiff, but in the middle of your house, your roof will actually flex up and down. And so if you built it tight, you would actually get cracking drywall and other issues. You want to leave a gap.
Interesting. Maybe that's, well, never mind. I'll tell a story. I went to visit my aunt, and she has an old house, and she was taking me around. She's like, "Dan, do you think this is a problem?" She pointed up at a door frame, and it was like this, like the the door frame I hope it was just drywall. I don't actually know, but it was completely separated. And I was like, I don't know. Seems bad, but it hasn't fallen over. But maybe there's just not enough of a gap. Maybe it's actually built too well.
I mean, the thing is, when was the last time you heard of a house just falling down? Like it never, like a lot of shit has to go very wrong for a house to straight up fall down.
Right. It's always like, oh, it turns out this house was built on a swamp, and then like there was a rain and the retaining wall gave out and the house just slid down the hill. Yeah. So you hear about that.
Yeah, usually it's when you combine a poorly built house with weather or some secondary event that it doesn't go well.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'll tell her that.
Yeah, just avoid the weather and your house will be fine as best you can.
I think there is one technology topic we should talk about.
Please.
And much like last time, I think we should talk about the AI PCs. That's the big breakout news story that's not Donald Trump related of the last 2 weeks, I think.
Absolutely. Happy to do it. Microsoft had an event the other week here. I'm trying to.
But then they had this like Surface hardware event before the Build conference, but that also coupled with that was this announcement like, yeah, we built all these cool Surface laptops and they have these AI neural processor units, but also we're making this new standard called, is it called AI PCs?
No, so the brand name, Microsoft's brand name is Copilot
Plus. Is it Copilot Plus AI PCs?
No AI, just Copilot Plus PCs.
God, it's so stupid.
that include built-in AI hardware. They've partnered with companies like Dell, Lenovo, Samsung, HP, Acer, and Asus. Microsoft also has 2 of their own on the Surface line. Right now, they're ARM chips only that include integrated neural processing units specifically for AI. One of the key features that they're launching with is called Recall, which uses AI to create a searchable photographic memory of everything you've done and seen on your PC. The laptops will run more than 40 AI models as part of Windows 11 to power these new features. It'll also have Microsoft's built-in AI assistant called Copilot with support for GPT-4o, which we talked about on the show last time, with the ability to talk back to you. They do expect to have Intel and AMD chips later on.
Yeah, so this is on my mind because I've just been like vaguely thinking that someday I should probably have a personal laptop again. And I was thinking about getting the Framework laptop. I thought that'd be fun. I can run Linux again. That's like the modular laptop company, and they came out with a new motherboard that you can build one of their computers with, and it has this NPU thing. And it's interesting because being a nerd, the first thing I did was I looked up benchmarks for this new Intel thing, because then there's like an old AMD laptop chip. There's the new Intel laptop chip. The Intel one now has this NPU. The other one doesn't, though it doesn't have enough teraflops to qualify as a Copilot Plus PC. But I look at these benchmarks and no one has any idea what the hell to do with these things in like the Windows world. Everyone's like, we have these things. They literally are like, we have these things. No software uses them. Shrug. Which is kind of crazy. It sort of speaks to like the Apple way, right? That this sounds crazy because on the one hand, I guess it's good that, whenever Microsoft releases these features, there will be computers out there that can support it. But on the other hand, it's crazy that all these companies are spending money buying these parts, putting them into computers that literally no one can use. Maybe if you wrote your own software, you could utilize them. But for any kind of user, even a pro user using Adobe After Effects, you get no benefit. So it's an interesting time to buy a Windows computer right now.
Yeah, I will say that was part of the announcement, and obviously we'll see it to believe it. But Microsoft did brag that they're partnering with companies like Adobe, as well as DJ Pro, DaVinci Resolve, a bunch of others that will use AI and the neural processing unit to support it. So how quickly that happens, I don't know. But yeah, they are certainly being aggressive about getting out ahead of this thing.
Yeah, and I think the rewind feature is super cool. Is that what they called it? Or
yes,
it was what they called it. I no longer use rewind.ai because that was, I probably picked it on the show, the Mac app where it would record everything, and right, and then we talked about their pivot.
Yep.
Right. I think I stopped using it right before the pivot, but I didn't use it quite enough to justify it made my computer a little bit slower and it took up a bunch of disk space. Sometimes it would cause issues. But when I did, and honestly, there's this other thing I use, Colby. Did I tell you about A2In, A-T-U-I-N? It's a cloud service that backs up your shell history forever and syncs it on all your computers. So you can never forget a command you ran ever again.
Wow. Which
was 99% of the reason I use Rewind. So that was the two things that killed it for me. But recently there was something where I was like, oh shit, like months ago, I was on this like website and it had this exact thing I need. And if I had Rewind, I could have found it. Now I'm not able to. And I hope that Apple offers similar things. I think this would be a compelling reason for me to use Windows. If Windows was just like, hey, I'm just like an AI platform that understands what you're doing on your computer, that might be pretty compelling, except Windows still sucks. But yeah, I thought that was interesting. I thought the ARM stuff was interesting. Like the Apple laptops get so much better battery life. Part of that is ARM. Part of that is Mac OS and other changes. So I'm also curious to see where that goes. It's an interesting time to be in the tech space again.
Yeah, it's really interesting because Microsoft has a big stake in OpenAI, the company. So they're fully bought in.
Where it was sort of not officially, but as close to officially revealed as can be before WWDC, that they are officially partnering with Apple, which is interesting.
Yeah, that's the other thing. WWDC is coming up in June. We'll have wall-to-wall coverage here. But obviously, we're all but certain that AI will be a big focus across the Mac platform in terms of enhancing Siri and adding features.
Bar is pretty low, isn't it? Siri. Bless you, Sean.
I almost didn't hit mute. I almost missed it. It was very, very close. Too close for comfort. Yeah, I mean, it's. I agree with you, Dan. I'm glad the hardware is there, but I need some real life use cases. I think launching with Recall is smart because I think people can really understand. Like your average person kind of gets what that is, and it doesn't take much work to get it up and running.
Though it was very controversial on the internet, so I don't know if you saw this, but all of sort of Reddit and places like that were like, "Oh my God, Microsoft is spying on me." which I don't know, because I haven't watched the announcement. I don't know if they screwed that up. People are probably also willfully misunderstanding. But I feel like Rewind.ai went out of its way to, from the get-go, show you that, there's no... That's why it takes up so much computer resources, because it isn't going to the cloud. But that's a benefit, because you really don't want this stuff in the cloud.
Yeah, and Microsoft says the index remains local and private on your device, and it won't take snapshots of private web browsing sessions and DRM protected content. But you gotta. I mean, Microsoft, put it this way: Microsoft is a company that's been putting ads in Windows. I don't, I don't know how good I feel about that, but we're just gonna have to get, at some point, if we want to use these AI features, we're just gonna have to get more comfortable with, because Apple's gonna ask us to do the same thing. We're just gonna have to be okay with turning this information over to get the benefit.
I don't think they will. That would be a huge shift for Apple.
Well, but I think they'll say the same thing Microsoft did. It's all on your device. It's all local. But people have to trust that.
I see.
And they trust Apple more. I wouldn't disagree, but nonetheless, AI is inherently on some level creepy.
That's true.
And that's why the one place I want to use it, work, will be far behind the curve. That's the only... My personal life is not interesting enough to need AI. It is my work life that needs it, and my IT department will never let me use it. Let me tell you guys something. So we're like 18 years behind on any technology for work. It's bad. We just got, for company-owned phones, we have to now install an app from Microsoft, because we're all Microsoft integrated, that monitors the apps that are installed, make sure they're up to the company standards for safety and things like that. Okay. I am now not allowed to copy and paste out of Outlook. When you can copy it, when you go to paste it somewhere, it says your company's policy does not allow you to copy and paste out of Outlook. Of all the dumb things in the world, I cannot copy and paste.
Is that an OS level feature? Apple allows these companies to block copy and pasting from certain apps?
Apparently. I had to give it permission. And I had to install a profile or whatever they call it in the,
right.
But yeah, there's that. And then what's the other really dumb feature? When you click on links in Outlook and other Microsoft apps, they will only open in Microsoft Edge browser. I'm losing my mind. I feel like we make screws. Like what could I copy and paste out of my email that could possibly be a security risk? I am baffled. God bless them.
How bad could you screw it up?
And you should have heard the complaints from our field sales guys who are constantly copying and pasting phone numbers and things out of their email. One day it just stopped working, and I'm like, oh my God. So yeah, I don't think we're going to get AI support anytime soon.
Maybe they can deploy an AI that decides what you can copy and paste out of Outlook.
I'll take something because my workaround now. But here's the other thing. I would think what I do is actually more of I take screenshots of the email in Outlook and then use Apple's sort of built-in text selector to copy and paste it. And I'm like, I would think a screenshot of an email is actually worse than copy and pasting out of it because you can include images and things like that. But anyway, so stupid.
Brilliant.
Brilliant indeed. Guys, anything else on your mind? Rattle it around in there?
No.
Just excited for June?
I am excited for June. Yeah. It was like a high of 52 and raining here yesterday. So we're still in winter.
That was what it was like here today. I feel like the weather here this year has been kind of what I imagine the weather in Seattle is like a lot of the time. Like it's been super rainy and like not hot, except for, a few days. Which I support. If we're going to get climate changed into a new climate, I would prefer it to be a rainy climate.
Your next week looks beautiful, Colby. Wow.
Does
It's
it?
time to go to Boston.
Prime
Come on
Boston.
down. I'm here all the time.
It's great. I got to get out to. I haven't been out to Boston in a while, Colby. I'm just going to invite myself.
Show up.
That would be a good time. Yeah, it's great. It's going to be a great summer. Or not. I don't. What the fuck do I know?
No, it will be. Come on.
It's going to be great. It's going to be great. Colby's going to get his new TV.
Yep. Stay in.
Are they delivering that to your apartment?
Yeah, I purchased it on Amazon, and they're honestly, I would rather take it up the elevator than let Amazon dudes take it up the elevator with its door that slams closed if you don't close it yourself. So I had them. I selected the deliver to the entry, like through the first, through the first set of doors delivery. So that's
smart.
That's what's happening.
I was worried it was going to be sitting out on the street. Didn't think it would
geez.
last long.
No. No, I think we'll be okay. And it's supposed to come on Monday, and so both Laura and I will be here on Monday. I think the worst thing that could happen is that the elevator would be broken on Monday. That would be unpleasant because then I would have to carry it, or Laura and I will have to carry it up.
Yeah, but you only got a 32-inch, right? It's not that big.
Yeah, of course.
No, Colby went for the 102-inch.
No, it's just 50 or 55 or whatever that
Which is pretty much the new smallest TV.
It was
believe it or
the
not,
smallest TV of the kind that we got. Yeah.
my mother was prodding me. I want a bigger TV. Her TV is like 60 inches. I'm like, you could not. Your eyeballs don't like look far enough to
Maybe
see
you
the
need
edges.
to do what Colby did for your mom and just bring her to the eye doctor and then tell her that you got a new TV, but actually it's the same. And
wow, it's so big. Yeah, it's
I see
5K.
everything.
No, I don't think they make glasses that can help her. Anyhow, folks, thanks for joining us. I'll tease up for debate just for a second here. We just earlier this evening taped our summer book club episode, which was great. We had some wild picks. You will be surprised. Check it out. It's going to be on the feed by the time this goes live. So check that out up for debate.tv or wherever you get your podcasts. Of course, our show is don'tpanic.io. We'll have the episode there along with links to my pick of a screwdriver that I do like a lot. And of course, the video will be on YouTube, and you can get a hold of us, don'tpanicshow@gmail.com. But we're going to wrap it up here. A pleasure, gentlemen, as always. On behalf of Dan and Colby, I'm Sean. We appreciate y'all being here. We're going to see you next time for another great episode of the Don't Panic Show.